Level 1, the dishwasher. The letter is still on the table when you wake up. Today is April 10th, 1912, the day you board the Titanic. You sit on the edge of the bed, you stare at the letter, White Star Line, kitchen crew, dishwasher, $5 a week. You fold it twice. You put it in your chest pocket. The room is small, one window, morning light coming through thin curtains. Your wife is already at the table. She's cutting bread. Slow, careful cuts. She doesn't look up when you walk in. Your daughter is near the window. She's 6 years old. She's pressing her finger against the glass, tracing the shape of something outside. You kneel beside her. You don't say much. Your wife wraps 2 pieces of bread in cloth and places them in your hand. She holds your hand for a moment longer than necessary. You look at her. She says, "Be careful." You say, "Of course." You pick up your bag from beside the door. Canvas, worn at the handle. Inside, 1 change of clothes, a razor, and a photograph. You took it the summer before. The 3 of you, standing in front of the house, squinting into the sun. Your daughter runs to you at the door and wraps her arms around your leg. You bend down and hold her for a moment. You stand up. You close the door behind you. The street outside is gray and cold. Cobblestones wet from the night. You walk. You hear it before you see it. Then you turn the corner, and there it is, the RMS Titanic. You stop walking. It doesn't look like a ship. It looks like someone built a city and decided to float it. 4 funnels rising into the gray sky. Black hull, white superstructure, steel so clean it reflects the clouds. You walk toward the crew entrance, not the passenger gangway, the other one, the narrow one at the side. No carpets, no chandeliers, just a hallway that smells like paint and grease and new rope. A man with a clipboard checks your name without looking at your face. He points down. You follow the corridor, then stairs, then more stairs. The ship gets louder as you go down. The hiss of pipes, the groan of metal settling into water. The crew quarters are at the bottom. 1 bunk among 12 in a room with no porthole. You sit on the edge of it, you take out the photograph, you look at it for a moment. You tuck it into the mattress, face up, where you can see it from above. The ship begins to move at noon. You don't see England disappear. You're already underground. The galley is the size of a warehouse. White tile walls, steel surfaces, steam rising from every corner. A noise that never stops. A man points you to the sink without a word. You look at the sink. It is deep, long. The water already going gray. And beside it, a stack of plates as tall as your shoulder. You roll up your sleeves. The water is not warm, it is hot. By the first hour, your hands are red from the wrist down. Scrub, rinse, stack. A new plate before the last one is dry. The first-class kitchen serves 400 passengers. 400 passengers, 3 meals a day, plus afternoon tea, plus late supper, plus anything they ask for at midnight when they cannot sleep in their warm beds. Trays arrive from the upper decks, roast duck, barely touched, salmon, half-eaten, cream soup gone cold, still half full. You scrape it all into the bin, and you wash the plate. 6 hours pass without stopping, then a 7th. When you finally sit down, your back is curved like a question mark, and you cannot fully straighten it. You eat with the crew. Tin cup, thin broth, bread from the day before. You eat with your eyes open, but you're not seeing the room. You're at the table at home. The bread your wife cut this morning. Your daughter reaching across your arm to get the jam. A sound from behind you pulls you back. You finish the broth. You get back to work. That night, in the crew quarters, you stretch out on the bunk and stare at the ceiling. The engine vibrates through the hull, through the mattress, through your spine. It sounds like something very large breathing in its sleep. You reach into the mattress and touch the photograph with your fingertips. You don't take it out. You just leave your hand there. You close your eyes. You open them again. The ceiling is the same. The engine is the same. Day 2. You're at the sink by 6 in the morning. Your hands haven't fully recovered from yesterday. You flex them slowly before you can open them completely, like rusted hinges. By 7, the breakfast service is already in full motion. Eggs on fine china. Toast that arrives half-eaten. Coffee cups with one sip taken. Scrub, rinse, stack, scrub, rinse, stack. Your legs begin to ache by mid-morning. Not from any single moment, just from the floor. Iron floors that don't give. Hours on iron floors that don't give. A tray comes down from the upper decks and lands on your station. On it, one full bread roll, untouched, still warm from the oven. You look at it. You look around. You eat it in one motion. It is the best bread you have ever tasted in your life. You put the tray in the sink and get back to work. At one point during the afternoon service, you knock a stack of saucers off the counter. They hit the floor and shatter. The sound cuts through the kitchen like a gunshot. A cook stops what he's doing and stares at you. You crouch down and begin collecting the pieces. Nobody helps. Nobody says a word. But they're all watching. You collect every piece. You place them in a cloth. You tie the cloth. You place it by the wall. You go back to the sink. You keep working. That night you lie on the bunk and your hands are curled even at rest. You have to think about opening them. You reach into the mattress. You pull out the photograph. You hold it above your face in the dark. 3 shapes, squinting into summer. You press it against your chest. You tell yourself about the money. $5 a week. By fall, it will be enough. Enough for a room with 2 windows. Enough to stop cutting bread into smaller and smaller pieces. Enough to give your daughter mornings that don't smell like coal smoke. You fold the photograph. You close your eyes. The ship moves forward in the dark. Day 3. The cold is different today. You feel it even underground. A particular cold that comes from outside, not from the pipes. You work through the morning service, through the afternoon, through the dinner preparation. At one point, a tray comes down with a plate of cold roast beef, left on your station without explanation. Not for washing, just there. You take one piece, cold, too salty, the best beef you have ever tasted. You get back to work. By the evening service, you can feel every hour of the last 3 days in the soles of your feet. You stand at the sink. You watch the steam rising from the water. You watch your own hands moving. Scrub, rinse, stack. Your mind goes somewhere quiet. The window at home. The curtains your wife made from leftover cloth. The way the morning light comes through them and falls across the table in 2 long strips. Scrub, rinse, stack. Your daughter tracing shapes on the glass. You blink. There are still more plates. There are always more plates. That night in the crew quarters, you sit on the edge of the bunk and look at the photograph for a long time. You trace the shape of your daughter's face with one finger. Then, you tuck it back into the mattress. You lie down. You close your eyes. You do not sleep for a long time. Day 4, April 14th. The cold has a weight to it now. You feel it pressing in through the hull as you work. The morning service, the afternoon service, scrub, rinse, stack. Your hands have stopped being red. They are something past red, a kind of deep, settled rawness that you no longer notice. By 9 in the evening, the dinner service winds down. The last trays come down from the upper decks. Glasses, dessert plates, coffee cups. You are almost at the bottom of the stack when you hear it. Not loud, not sudden. A low sound from somewhere outside the hull. A long, slow scraping, like the ocean clearing its throat. You stop. Your hands go still in the water. You wait. The engine changes pitch. The ship shudders once, very slightly, then nothing. You look back at the plates. You begin scrubbing again. 3 minutes later, the floor tilts. Not much, just slightly. Enough that the water in your sink leans toward the front. Enough that a glass inches toward the edge of the counter. You catch it without thinking. You hold it in your hand. You look at the floor. You hear running in the corridor above you. Then voices. Then a sound that is very hard to describe. It is the sound of a ship deciding it is finished arguing with the ocean. You dry your hands on your cloth. You reach into the mattress. You take the photograph. You place it in your shirt pocket above your heart. You move toward the stairs. The corridor is full of movement and cold air and water already running along the floor. Not much. Just a thin layer, moving forward, moving where the floor tells it to go. You climb. 1 level, 2. The angle steepens with every staircase. By the 3rd level, the floor is no longer exactly a floor. A door opens ahead of you, and the cold that comes through it stops your lungs. You step out onto the deck. The ocean is black and enormous and absolutely still, and it is right there, where it should not be. The bow is already down, slowly, deliberately, like something very tired finally giving up. You press yourself against the railing. You look at the water. You press your hand against your shirt. You can feel the edges of the photograph through the cloth. 3 shapes, squinting into the sun. A summer afternoon. A house. A garden. A woman cutting bread at a table. A little girl pressing her finger against a window. The deck groans beneath your feet. The lights flicker. Then steady. Then flicker again. Then go out. The cold does not negotiate. The cold does not care about the $5. The cold does not care about the room with 2 windows, or the bread cut on a table in Southampton, or a little girl watching pigeons on a ledge. The water is black and it is everywhere at once. And somewhere below, in the belly of the ship, the plates are still stacked, still clean, still waiting for a service that will never come. They go down slowly, along with the gray water in the sinks, along with the wages never collected, along with a canvas bag with a worn handle, along with the photograph pressed against the chest of a dishwasher whose name the newspapers will not print. 3 shapes, squinting into the sun. The ocean takes everything. The ocean keeps everything. And in Southampton, at a table in a small room, a woman sits beside a window. She is not cutting bread. She is not doing anything. She is waiting for a letter. The curtains her wife made from leftover cloth hang still in the morning light. The light falls across the table in 2 long strips, and a little girl presses her finger against the glass, tracing the shape of something outside, something she cannot reach.